What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here for week 45 of the Monday Night Wars. It took place August 12th, 1996. This is the Monday Night Nitro side. This is the 48th episode of Nitro, but the 45th week they've gone head-to-head with Raw on the same night. Nitro beats Raw for the 8th week in a row. Sorry, that should be the 9th week in a row. 3.3 to 2.0 is the ratings for this Nitro, so they whooped them by 1.3. So through 45 weeks now, Nitro has 26 wins, WWF has 17 wins, and there's 2 draws. So this is the Nitro with the 3.3 rating that beat Raw with the 2.0. Nitro begins with pyro all over the Casper Event Center, live on TNT from Casper, Wyoming. This is 2 days after the first the Hog Wild pay-per-view. This is the first Nitro since where Hollywood Hogan won the world title at Hog Wild over the Giant and spray-painted the title NWO for the first time. The first hour of Nitro is brought to you by Zbyszko and Schiavone. They talk about last night. Zbyszko questions where Sting and Luger were ultimately when it came to the WCW Unionship against the New World Order, which Zbyszko calls the New World Odor. The show began with an 8-man tag, and they show a highlight reel of Road Wild and discuss the Outsiders beating Sting and Luger and how there could be a rematch tonight. And there will be. But at the time, it wasn't known. The 8-man tag opens up the event. Dungeon of Doom, Hugh Morris, Sullivan, Mang, and the Barbarian take on, with Big Bubba and Jimmy Hart, take on High Voltage, Kenny Chaos, and Robbie Rage with Rough and Ready, Dick Slater, and Mike Enos in an 8-man tag match. The match only went 2 minutes and 40 seconds. A lot of people got frequent tags that only hit 1 or 2 moves. Sullivan in there gives everyone shots. Slater, Chaos, Rage, and Enos, all 8-man brawl in couples of 4. Mang then hit a thrust kiss to Robbie Rage and then a lateral press, and that gets him the 3 count. So he wins at 2:40. I gave the match a 1.25 because of the frantic action that was going on in the 2.5 minutes that took place. Luger and Sting come down to the ring and challenge the Outsiders for right here, right now, but they didn't come out. But they said they'll come out later in the night. DDP versus the Renegade. Renegade comes out. DDP didn't get a televised entrance. A quick takedown by the Renegade, who then has the arm worked over by Page. The Renegade reverses the armbar into a hammerlock and then an overhead wrist lock as they just display a sense of power. Page then gets taken down with a clothesline by the Renegade. DDP comes back in the match and stomps on his hands, hits a snapmare and a swinging neck breaker. DDP slaps on a reverse chin lock, went for a near fall, then belly-to-belly suplex. DDP misses a shoulder block and a 2 count. The Renegade kicked at DDP and hit a running clothesline, then another running clothesline. The Renegade was ready to suplex DDP, but he lands on his feet, turned him around, and hit a diamond cutter. DDP wins the match with the diamond cutter at 5:45 over the Renegade. Hogan, Hall, and Nasher backstage cutting an NWO promo. Not the vignette that's black and white, but just a normal promo backstage where they're sitting on the couch. Hogan's got the NWO spray-painted title, so this is the first time on Nitro's history that we see the title with NWO spray-painted on it, like a clip of it. They all just talk about their future challenges. Next up, Jim Powers took on Conan. Neither men get a televised entrance. They just face each other in the ring. A lot of offensive maneuvers by Conan, torquing the leg, holding the leg down with a half body scissors, interjecting his own modified submission holds, keeping the leg underneath the spine while he stretches the arm and torques the leg. Conan went head first into the buckle 10 times by Jim Powers as the crowd chanted to 10. Off the ropes, a high knee to Powers by Conan. Powers drop kicks Conan, a drop kick in the corner, and he used the ropes for leverage. So Conan defeated Jim Powers at 3:20-21 after he came back in the match with a drop kick and held on to the ropes. I rated it 2 stars. Afterwards, Conan gets on the mic and says, "NWO, look out." Chris Benoit with Miss Elizabeth and Woman versus Ron Studd. Ron Studd's this big giant guy, and Benoit's a small technical machine. Benoit's so much smaller, but he gets in his face with hard chops, hard blows. Ron Studd walks into a boot by Benoit, who then chops his leg and keeps working on the leg to take the big man off his vertical base, dropping his weight on the leg that's hooked onto the ropes. Back in the ring, Benoit comes in and went for an atomic drop, but the bad leg of Ron Studd gives out. Benoit then went all the way to the other end and top rope superplex Ron Studd, and that's what gets the win at 3:31. So a fantastic ending. I rated the match 2.5 stars. Only 3.5 minutes in, but I just love technical wrestlers versus giants. I'm a fan of those matches. Mean Gene interviews Benoit after the match, who says the Horsemen are superior. to the NWO. The second hour begins with Pyro and Bobby Heenan and Bischoff take over the booth. What's amazing is the second half of the show of the card, it reads like a pay-per-view. You got Steiner's and Harlem Heat for the tag gold, Ray versus Ultimo Dragon for the Cruiserweight title, Flair and Savage for the US title, and then Luger and Sting versus the Outsiders. That's all in just hour 2 of Nitro. Coming August of 1996, they start to have great Nitros with stacked cards. This is the turning point for Nitro. Sure, it's got great ratings ever since the NWO started in May, but this is where the ratings really stay strong because the cards are jacked. Soon they'll introduce Jericho to join the likes of Benoit, Guerrero, Malenko, all the likes. Steiner brothers take on the Harlem Heat for the tag titles. This was a good match. 9 minutes of fury. A lot of scissors kicks, back body drops, suplexes, overhead suplexes, big power moves by both teams. In the end, the Steiners won by disqualification after Colonel Robert Parker got involved and ended up disqualifying Harlem Heat. Steiners win, but they don't get the titles as Harlem Heat retain the titles thanks to the DQ ending. Titles cannot switch hands on DQ, as we already know. Scott wanted the hot tag for a lot of this match as the Harlem Heat had great tandem offense. Scott came back in with suplexes over to belly-to-belly overhead suplexes, which is impressive to the people the size of Harlem Heat. Next up, Rey Mysterio Jr. I rated that Steiner's match 3 stars. Rey Mysterio Jr. took on Ultimo Dragon with Sonny Ono for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Rey defended the title one night after he did at Hog Wild. Ultimo Dragon with the top rope. Dragon goes in all green. Rey Mysterio's in blue. From the top rope, he hit a Hurricane Rana. The Ultimo Dragon then on the outside hit a Springboard Plancha. To the Ultimo Dragon, I should say, by Rey Mysterio Jr., a Springboard Plancha. Rey then, by the barricade, gets a hits leg back tossing against the Ultimo Dragon. He back tossed him. Rey with against the ropes, and then a springboard from the corner, but Dragon catches him with a drop kick in midair. The Ultimo Dragon skins the cat and does a backflip to avoid Rey, then comes through the ropes with the drop kick to Rey into the steel guardrail on the outside. Amazing counter moves in this one. The Ultimate Dragon with a back body drop lands on his feet with a full Nelson bridge into Rey. He kicks out. A powerbomb attempt happens at sunset flip by Rey, and then he gets the 3 count at 4:34 after he played possum in the powerbomb position. And then he gets up and does a sunset flip, and he holds a bridge, a jackknife to make sure the legs are hooked for the 3 count. I rated it 3.5 stars. It was a great match for under 5 minutes. One of the best cruiserweight matches in under 5 minutes that you'll see. Next up, we have Ric Flair defending the U.S. title against Macho Man Randy Savage. One night after Flair successfully defended it against Guerrero. This is what Savage has been waiting a calendar year for, a high-profile singles match with Flair. And these guys went insane. This was like their WrestleMania 8 match for the first half of it. The second half of it was a little bit slower with Flair working on Savage's leg into the figure 4, but Savage and Flair were just all over the ring, side area, into the ring, back outside the ring. Fans were going mental too as Savage just kicked the shit out of Flair. But when Flair came back around, Hollywood Hogan came from the back and hit Savage with a chair shot twice, and then threw Savage in the ring. Flair covered Savage as the ref didn't see it. Flair retains the title at 11:43. I give the match 3.5 stars. High-rated matches tonight. Hollywood Hogan walks out in black and says, it cuts a pretty good early NWO Hollywood Hogan promo advertising Clash of the Champions. The main event was the Outsiders versus Sting and Luger. Luger runs over Nash and Hall. Lex drops Hall and Nash, and then all 4 men brawl as it's chaos and the officials lose track at 3 minutes and 40 seconds as the Horsemen come to the ring to the aid of Luger and Sting to make sure the NWO doesn't overpower them. But what's interesting is in the match, Nick Patrick pulled Scott Hall out of the corner. So people are wondering, is Nick Patrick the 4th man? Is he in the NWO? Was he bought off? So there's a lot of questions about that. The show ends with Mean Gene cutting a promo with the Horsemen, and they advertise Clash of the Champions. So again, this Nitro beat Raw by a score of 3.3 to 2.0. Quality rating wise, I rated it 8.5 out of 10. This was one of the best Nitros to this point. I'd say it's probably the best Nitro to this point. Maybe the highest rating I've given it to, 8.5. It just had a stacked card. It read off like a pay-per-view. Steiner's Harlem Heat, Rey Ultimo Dragon, Flair Savage, Hogan, or the Outsiders, Hall, Luger, and Sting. So 8.5 out of 10 for this Monday Night Nitro. I'm Brett Mix. Thank you so much. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these reviews. We'll be back with the next Nitro, as this Nitro got an 8.5 out of 10 and a 3.3 rating. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.